Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Business Development TVTT on this
Yes,
wonderful Thursday. I'm excited.
before another holiday.
Yes, before another holiday. I know.
Personal development improves thinking, improves the attitude towards others, and improves with time. Lazy man's way to successful personal development, or should I say, successful implementation of personal development. Is your business?
You forgot to introduce yourself.
Yeah, and I was going to slide it in later. But yeah.
Okay.
So is your business in relaunch, restart, and re-engage mode? Do you need more customers, and are you looking to grow your customer base so that you could eventually grow your sales? Today at BDTV TT Trinidad Tobago Business Development Trinidad Tobago, which is Hilary De Freitas, the marketing mom, and myself, Bernadette Chinley, WSI, we are going to cover what you should be doing daily to improve your personal development, how to speed up your learning, and where the hidden lessons are in your daily activities. So let's get started. Thinking. When life throws rotten mangoes at you, you gotta learn to dodge, right? We don't like being smeared by rotten mangoes, right? You gotta learn to see the clues before it happens. You gotta notice the mango before it leaves the person's hands. And the reason why you need to do that is so that you can have the time. The reason why you need to look out for the clues is so that you have the time to react, okay? So that you can dodge the mango. And at the beginning, you're gonna be sweaty, you're gonna be dirty, but that's okay. Once every day you get less rotten mangoes at you, that's good. You're moving in the right direction. Celebrate the successes. And eventually you're going to be stepping aside and being like Bruce Lee. All right. He was not, in most of his fights, he wasn't sweating. He got a little shiny, but his opponent was like, you know? So gotta be like Bruce. So what clues are we looking for? What is a business owner clues in your daily life to improve your personal development? Are you enjoying your business? So if you're not enjoying your business, that's a clue. If your frustration levels are pretty high every day, that's a clue. When you have no time to enjoy life, health, wealth, and relationships, that's definitely a clue. Tends to be one of the first clues you should be looking for. And so therefore you need to figure out, what do I need to do differently? That's what personal development is going to do. Time to change. Personal development helps you to change and to change faster because you are actually seeing the path, the strategy, you're seeing the steps, you're seeing. Most of the time, we definitely don't know where we're going to end up, but we kind of know where you want to end up.
Yes.
Right? So that's why we talk about all the time, reverse engineering.
Yes, exactly.
See where you want to go. All right. See where you want to go. See my finger close up to the screen and pull it backwards to get these steps. Yeah. Cool. So, are you seeing any questions so far?
Well, why personal development? I mean, why are so many people talking about it, and does it really work? That's a huge question. Does it really work?
Yes, and that would be one of the, how you call it, the first things that you need to ask yourself. Why do I need it, and does it really work? And the big answer to that is absolutely, absolutely. Personal development works because it helps you to show up differently. It helps you to handle arguments better or better yet, not argue. Because
Not
the
argue.
day I stopped arguing, oh my gosh, it was a revelation. And my whoo, peace.
Your stress level came down. Oh wow.
All right.
So what do you do daily then? So we're talking so we established it's important, but what do you have to do then to get to that peace level? Does it come automatically? Like I'm like, yes.
Oh, no, 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 no. There's some work in between. Okay. So first of all,
Dog.
you need to acknowledge that you are not an expert, even of yourself. You are not an expert of yourself. If you accept that, then you say, okay, who am I going to listen to help myself get better? All right. And
Right.
the next question you need to ask is, what should be my first step? You know what I mean? Because everybody's differently. We all have different characters. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and if you have, sorry, not characters, characteristics. So
Characteristic.
both of us can have the same end goal, but our path to that end goal is going to be different because we both have different scenarios to deal with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So if you're ready to improve, the first thing you need to improve is how you think. All right. And that's a big stress, how you think. And that's why, and in terms of your daily actions, I want you, so if you're ready for it, I want you to lean in, listen up, turn off all distractions. Okay? Because this is important stuff. Read. You need to read. What are you going to read? You want to read within your industry. You want to read the leaders. You want to read outside of your industry. All right. And that's a major thing that most business people don't do. They don't pay attention to outside industries. And the clue to improving your business is actually in somebody else's industry. Okay.
Yes.
You need to enjoy literature. Literature, history, they kind of intertwine because different literature came about because of the history that was happening. All right. So there's a lot of stuff that you can learn from literature.
So a businessman, right? So because I have been on this journey for a while, I appreciate that statement. But somebody who, because I understand the balance, I came from the engineering world where I read only what I needed to read and nothing more, which is why I opted out of lit class.
Yeah.
um, so, and exactly what you just said there, many businessmen, they may say, okay, I'll pick up the journal for my industry, I will read the leaders in my industry, but I already don't have time for
Outside.
outside of my industry, far less the what most people categorize as the leisure reading, but it actually assists with that personal development, as you're saying.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Yeah, if you're living in a high frustration, high overwhelm, it's like I mentioned previously, when you are frustrated with people and you don't know
Mhm.
how to talk to them, and you're trying to, or let's say you just had an argument, one that you really didn't want to have, but you had it anyway, and you're in this high emotional state, get your brain over to the logic side of things, right? Do
Mhm.
math
Yes.
sums, try to solve a Sudoku, try to
Sudoku.
solve a engineering problem, and then you bring yourself back into
Uh,
balance.
yes, it's a balance. Yes, because your emotion has just gone off the charts.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. And that's why we need to read other things and we need to read for fun. Because how do you get yourself back down and into action? Because most of us, when the stress is high, you just can't operate. It's very difficult to operate. So anyway, and don't forget the fun part. Read for fun. Read the novels. Not necessarily Mills and Boone and Daniel Steele, but the fun. Comics is a big thing. Get some laughter in you. All right.
Mhm.
So anyway, what else should you be doing daily? Write.
Yeah. Yeah, what you should be doing daily.
The writing part actually helps you to think on paper. Writing actually helps you to get what is all the confusing thoughts in your head, get it onto paper. And then you may look at it, you don't necessarily have to look back at it, but the fact that you've actually written it down, your brain is going to remember that. And then when the activity comes in, you can put it into practice. Yes, Hillary?
So, question, you're saying writing, okay? Do I have to physically write, or does typing work? Because we're talking about lazy man's way, right? It's like,
Going back to what you call it, it's not physiotherapist. What's the other one? Occupational therapist.
right.
Good stuff. I love comics. I so read comics to my kids as they grew up between 7 and 10 years old. Oh my gosh, comics are the best. But anyway, um, yes, where were we? Writing. Yes,
Yeah.
occupational therapists are the ones who are going to answer your question. Writing, when you physically write on paper, it's sending neurons and synapses to your brain,
Brain.
and that's why you should be writing physically. All right.
Yeah,
Yes,
type.
I know the modern day person. When Hillary and I are not that far apart in years, but she loves to type, and I actually like writing. And when I have something to read, I do prefer to print it out to read it. Yeah. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay to text that type every so often, but when you journal, when you write your thoughts, you need to be writing physically. It's a
Yes.
brain finger connection there. All right. And one of the first things that you actualize is your ability to express yourself better. You're actually going to see your communication improving when you journal.
Okay.
Journaling is not necessarily writing for others to see, but mostly writing for yourself. Okay? Journaling is important, especially for a business person. And it is one of the it's one of the things that is going to add gas to your speed to a better you. All right. Next one is ask questions. You need to ask yourself questions. We said that earlier. You need to reduce lecturing, less lecturing, and more asking questions actually gets the job done faster. When you lecture, you are giving information, you are telling them what to do, how to do, when to do, what to do. And the person who's receiving it is like, all right, I'm an idiot. I don't know how to do it. So she's telling me exactly. And then it goes into comics, right?
Yeah, it goes into comics.
What,
No, but
what
it's
comics
funny.
was
It's
that? Peanuts.
peanuts, yes. But
Wow,
you know what's
wow,
funny?
wow. All right.
Wow, 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 wow. Because that happened to me. Like I exactly what you're not supposed to do. I started doing. I started talking, and one of my kids started doing this. Literally, literally. I was like, okay, I'll stop. I was like, she literally stood up there and was like looking at me, and
That's still funny.
gotta love kids.
Your kids are learning
Yes,
to very quickly. Very quickly.
yeah.
Excellent.
And as Jeff says, questions keep people engaged. It keeps them thinking, and it helps them, and it helps you, because then you're learning to ask better questions, right? Um, Another example, when I asked, when people are challenged, they have a problem, right? This is something that I learned a little late, but it was something that I learned finally realizing that if somebody comes to you with a problem, your job is not to give them the solution. Your job is to help them to the solution. And the only way to do that is to ask questions.
And yes, you're going to get them to their solution faster because what? When the light bulb goes off in their head, because they have asked the question, then they internalize what you're saying.
Exactly. Definitely.
Sometimes you don't even have to say anything.
Sometimes.
Like, oh, all right, got it. And they're gone.
Yeah, got it. And they're just like, got it. And they, yeah.
This actually improves relationships humongously. All right. So personal development is not only for business. In fact, I started my personal development journey in my family because I wanted to figure out how to be a better mom. Yes, I had experience being a child, and my parents were excellent parents. I loved them humongously. But I kind of realized early on that they didn't have all the answers. And therefore, yeah.
I know.
The purpose of a parent is to love your child. Right? Purpose of a parent is to love a child. Figuring out how to get the child to do what you want them to do, you have to learn. It's like, for instance, when I was teaching when I was homeschooling my two boys, I realized how much I didn't learn when I was in school. It was amazing. It was amazing. I learned so much more teaching them than when I was in school. Anyway, so the big benefit out of asking questions is learning how to reframe your question so that you can get the expected outcome. Right?
Repeat that. Repeat that.
The benefit out of asking better questions is learning how to reframe so that you can get to the expected outcome.
Exactly.
So if, for instance, you're telling somebody and they're not getting it, it's because you need to ask them a question so that they could figure out what it is that you really want them to do. Yeah. All right? Yeah. So reframe your question. Anyway, so the next step is practice. So there are four daily actions that you should be doing to speed up your personal development. You need to read, you need to write, you need to ask questions and ask better questions. And the fourth one is practice. You need to try it out. Don't sit there and read the whole book before you actually start practicing and trying it out, what the expert is saying. All right. So for me, if I open a personal development book and I'm not connecting to the author, I close the book and I move on, because that personal development, that author is not connecting with where I am right now. So I put it back on the shelf, and maybe at a later date that I will actually need that information that author is giving. So yeah, lots of books and I haven't gotten back to them yet. That's okay. But I give you an example. Someone was asking me how to improve their networking results. They wanted to increase their network. All right. So I says, okay. And they're very shy. So I told them every day for the next 2 weeks, wave, smile more, and say hello. So 3 things you do to strangers. All right. And so I was expecting her the following week to give her the next step that she was supposed to do. So when we met the next time, the 2 weeks later, she's like, no, didn't do it. I'm like, why? She's like, I felt too stupid. I'm like, all right, no problem. So guess what?
You gotta do that again. No second lesson. Yeah.
No second lesson. What's the reason? What's the reason for taking the first step and putting it into practice? The reason is so that you can get out of your box. Get out of your
Yeah.
comfort zone. Get out of where you think it should be. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
these are the personal developments to speed up. And you can't get to step 5 if you're not doing step 1. All right. Excellent. Next thing,
So this doesn't sound, Bertie, just just to interject though, but it doesn't sound like this is benefiting the lazy man. This is hard work.
it's
Personal development is hard work.
It is hard work, but it's the lazy way to a successful personal development. If you take that first step, and what's that first step? To acknowledge that I am not
Don't do
the expert
everything.
on myself. So therefore, we do like what other people say. Take yourself out of your own way. All right?
Yes.
If
Get
you do
out of
that,
your own way.
and you do these 4 steps daily, all right, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna take you maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours at the beginning, but in a month's time it's gonna get down to a more manageable time frame. You're gonna get
Right.
it going. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
another thing is that Hillary and I do blogs, and we forever started and stopped blogging. And I mean, guilty, it's just the truth. All right. You start, you stop, you start, you stop. But blogging is important. And in a sense, that's what journaling is. And once I get this journaling up, I mean, I've been doing it, 3 weeks now? I've been journaling every day. Then I'm going to jump that back into my blogging because I have found the solution to get it done faster. All right? To get that mull and
Out of your head and into paper.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of these things that personal development is also going to make you better at is analyzing risks. We all need to figure out how to analyze risks. And you could look at it as the rotten mango. When you step out, it's mango season, right?
This mango analogy is killing me.
But it's a good analogy, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't like to be hit by rotten mangoes. I want to catch a nice
Stay
one, but I don't want any rotten mango. So anyway,
Exactly.
nobody wants to take risks that are going to let them end up in more debt, more frustration, a worse business. All right. Now, the economist in our local country, Trinidad and Tobago, is telling us that since 2016, all has been going horrible for small businesses, for medium businesses, and the only people who are going to benefit out of this whole thing is the big business. So, doomsday. You know what? Henry and I decided that we are not going to be in that band. We are not going to march to that drum. Okay, so therefore we got into serious action. And yes, some weeks are a little more difficult than others, but we promised you that we would be here every Thursday, and we are doing it by hook or by crook. We are here every Thursday at 10:30. So reduce your risk. Reduce your risk by getting into action. Punto final. I could stop it there. I could get into way deeper, but let's stop it there. All right? Get into action. And by getting into action, you actually see what works, what doesn't work, and you get to improve a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So removing the roadblocks. Next step. Removing the roadblocks to who you need to be. So the first and one of the major questions you should be asking in personal development is, who do I need to be? It's
Who do
not
you want to be? Yes.
who do I need to sell to. It's not who
Right.
customers do I need more of. It's not who should I
Mhm.
hire. It's who do I need to be.
Need to be. Right.
And then you're going to attract all the people that you need to get a happier business culture, a more profitable business, and a business that you enjoy going to. All right. It's not that you're not enjoying the company, so therefore I get out. That's not the solution. I totally disagree with a lot of those entrepreneurs that tell employees, if you don't like your work, just leave your 9 to 5 job. That's not necessarily the solution for most of us who are employees, because most of us employees don't know how to run a business. So
Business,
don't
exactly.
jump out into a business and you really don't want it, because there are lots of us who just don't like the rotten mangoes because business owners get rotten mangoes every day. All right, you know how to deal with it. So
Right.
it's the truth, right?
It's true. It's true. We just do it like
The
but
other
it's there. Every
don't-
season, it's there. And you have to deal with it somehow. Okay? So face it.
It's like going into parenting and you really don't know how to take care of other people. That's a very sad scenario for children, because children didn't ask to be born, you know. But anyway, that's a whole different story.
That's a different,
So
yes.
anyway, how to remove the roadblocks to who you need to be. Knowledge. People go after personal development in terms of knowledge, but knowledge isn't necessarily going to make you a better person if you don't know what to do with the knowledge.
Exactly.
The experience, whether good or bad, is not necessarily going to make you a better person if you don't figure out how to see life differently, figure out how to pivot differently when the experience presents itself. Because guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be there again. All right?
Yeah.
And the purpose of a decision. What makes a good business leader, a good business owner? It's when they start owning their decisions. All right?
Yeah. And
most things
the
that
game.
yeah, complain, blame, and superstition tends to keep us away from making decisions. Superstition is actually a big thing. You know, like for instance, well, the last time I did that, and so happened, so I'm not going to ever do it again. I'm like, doesn't mean it's going to happen the same way, you know. And then the question is, does lightning strike in the same place twice? Right? Very highly unlikely. All right. So don't be afraid to get back in your car if you got into an accident yesterday. All right. You got to figure out, was it the tires that were too smooth? Was it that I was driving too fast? Did I press brakes when I was in the middle of a puddle? Did I turn the wheel too hard? You know, you got to figure out those things. Those are the questions that will help you to face getting back into the car. All right. So knowledge is going to help you remove the roadblock to who you want to be. Meaning, when I get an A in English, does that mean I'm an excellent communicator? No. But I
just
use
pass
it.
the exam.
Exactly. I use it to pass an exam. But I can use it to improve how I communicate.
Okay.
All right?
Exactly.
So you have the knowledge, but you need to learn how to execute that knowledge better. So the experience, when you experience the car crash, when you experience that you washed the car and you ended up being totally soaked, you need to figure out how to not get wet. Or what should I dress in order so that I can enjoy getting wet? You don't go out in your formal clothes to wash a car, right? So what lesson are you going to take from your experience? Whether good or bad, whether the outcome was good or bad, what lesson did I take from that? And that's why, in a sense, I didn't like the Disney movies that would make the ending being, and they went off into the
Always perfect. Exactly. Always perfect. That's not reality.
all right. So that's what you need to teach yourself. If you grew up in the Disney era, you need to teach yourself that life does not always end with you running off into the sunset and live happily ever after.
Exactly. And that you have to be comfortable with that. You have to be okay with that. And that is part of the personal development, being okay with it not being okay.
With the bad outcome, with the outcome that you
Exactly.
didn't expect. You got to be okay with it. Good point. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
so personal development doesn't only come from books and gurus and leaders in the industry. You got to read the books, you got to take courses, and you got to put it into action. And if you can't get the experience, if you want to speed up the experience, you can borrow the experience from leaders by reading their books. Yes?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
So there are lazy ways to improving in your personal development. There are lazy ways. But the first step, so to wrap up, is fastest way to get better at personal development and enjoying your personal development journey is read, write,
Right.
ask questions, ask better questions,
And
put it into action.
Put it into
So
action.
join us again next Thursday, 10:30, same time, same channel, Facebook, YouTube. We're here every Thursday. And if you want any advice on what we have presented here today, definitely drop us a message. We're here.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. See you next week.